Welcome to our new series of interviews with Father Bob. The teenagers of St. Peter Parish will be interviewing Father Bob every month, asking him questions that have been on their minds. Stay tuned each month for a new video. Here is the next of many interviews to come.
I have a couple questions about the Pope. Who is the Pope elected by?
Who is the Pope elected by? Well, the first Pope was appointed by Jesus. He said to Simon, "You are rock, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church." But after that, they had to kind of, figure out who was going to take over. And in the early church, it was the Church of Rome that would do that. The other priests and leaders of Rome, and sometimes even the people, would just acclaim, we want this person, that person. But as the church grew and developed, we needed kind of a system that would be a little bit more orderly and include others from, around not just Rome, but around the whole church. So St. Gregory the Seventh, one of the popes, kind of organized that those who had special roles in the church, they're called cardinals. Most of them were bishops. When a pope died, they would come together and they would prayerfully discern who would the next pope be. And since that time, that was about the 11th, 12th century, about the 12th century, that's how the pope has been elected, by the cardinals of the church. And so they meet in Rome and pray and discern. Sometimes it's a matter of weeks. Sometimes in the church it took a year or two. And it has not always been an easy thing. Sometimes there's been, some even what we would call people wanting this person, people wanting that person, and there's two at the same time, and they had to go back and do it again, and all sorts of things, So, but of recent times, it's been a lot more organized and orderly, and but it's the cardinals now who elect the pope by 2/3 majority. It's not simply 50%; takes 2/3 of them to be all on the same page with the same person, and then we have a new pope. And they instead of putting black smoke out, they put out white smoke from the Vatican. Somebody will say, "Habeas papam." We have a new pope. We have a pope.
Why does the Pope live where he lives? Why doesn't he live somewhere else?
Well, the Pope lives in Rome, and he lives in Rome because, again, this is where Peter ended his life. He went to Rome to, share the good news of Jesus with those in Rome, and that's where he gave his final teaching, and that's where he was a martyr. And that, I think, was kind of providential, that he was the leader of the Church of Rome, and that someone would take over for him. It was providential at that time because Rome was sort of the heart of the known world. The old saying is, all roads lead to Rome, because the Romans built all these roads that would lead to their capital. It's also true that all roads lead away from Rome, and so the early Christians would take those roads and go out and bring the gospel to other parts of the world. And so by God's providence, that's where Peter ended his life. That's where the successor of Peter takes over, and it's from Rome that we have the Pope. And what did you ask that too? Why doesn't he live somewhere else? Well, because of everything I just said. It would really confuse things if he started living in other places. And in fact, one time the Pope did live in Avignon, France, the southern coast of France. It was kind of a nice area. Why did he move there? Well, Rome wasn't an easy place to live. Sometimes the Romans killed the Pope. Even for more than reasons of the faith. They just were political reasons or whatever. And so they got a little nervous staying there. So they moved away for like 70 years. And finally, it was, I think, in the 14th century, St. Catherine of Siena said, "You got to get back there whether you like it or not." And so they've been in Rome since, and I hope and pray they stay there. our popes now travel a lot, so they're all over the place, but their home base is Rome, and that's where it'll be.